Welcome to the Cash Flow Couple Podcast, where we go behind the scenes in our short-term rental business and reveal tips, tricks, secrets, successes, and failures. Whether you have 0 units or 100 units, this podcast is for you. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Wynde Williams, along with my husband, John Williams. Together, we operate Queen City Suites, a short-term rental business here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome back to the podcast. I am your hostess, Wynde Williams, here with my husband, John Williams. How art thou?
So you're the hostess. That just makes me the host.
Yes, you are the host. Yes, you're male, and I am the hostess.
So how would you say that in French? I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
A hostess? I don't know. I know that it could be serveur or serveuse.
So that's like waitresses and stuff? Okay.
But I don't know how to say hostess. I'm going to have to look that up.
Okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was just curious.
That's a good question.
So our listeners in France.
In France.
Well, I'm sure tell us what that is.
Yes, that's right. Somebody needs to message me and let me know. Bonjour. Actually, it's nighttime over here, so it's bonsoir. So today, I thought we could keep following along in the book. And the next topic is that it is a revenue business. And John has something he would like to say about that because he says...
John always has something to say.
He says, pardon, pardon, pardon. No, it is not true. John says...
Yeah, so in the book, this was actually section 7. It was revenue and calendar management. And I was just talking to Wynde. I was like, why do we put those two things together again? But basically, the topic of this podcast is about how the concept of this is a revenue business, not necessarily an occupancy business. So you see that a lot. You see people talking about, what my occupancy is, or, am I 85% occupied this month, or am I 50% occupied this month? And that kind of doesn't matter if you think about it, because if you're on the extremes, if I'm 50% occupied at $100 a night, that's the same thing as somebody that's 100% occupied at $50 a night.
Yes.
Right?
I understand that.
And
those numbers work for me.
Yes, well, that's why I use 50 and 100.
Keeping it simple.
Those two people made the same amount of money. In fact, the person that was only booked half the month probably actually made more in the long run because there was less maintenance or wear and tear or whatever else.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
So that's just something to keep in mind. Don't get so focused on that. And the other thing that we constantly think about is what are some other revenue sources that we can get besides just nightly rate?
And that's what you're saying, why this is a revenue business, not an occupancy business.
Yes.
Because we're not really focused on occupancy per se. We're focused on revenue.
Which affects the bottom line. So you have certain expenses, you have certain income. Do you really care where that income comes from?
No.
For example, and I'm giving extreme examples for a reason, but if I could rent my place for $5 a night, but make an additional $90 a night on other services, whatever those may be, then I'm now making really $95 a night, even though my nightly rate is only $5. So the idea is people are coming to your unit for a reason. And a lot of times it's that the activity they're going to be performing doesn't happen primarily there. It happens outside of the 4 walls of the unit that you have. So, for example, if somebody's coming for a vacation, if you have a traditional vacation rental at, say, the beach or wherever, well, they're coming to stay there, but really they're coming for the beach. They're coming for, I think about Myrtle Beach because we go there quite a bit, but there's, what's the thing we like to go to that's the Dolly Parton thing on the, It's in North Myrtle Beach. We went to the pirate deal.
Oh yeah, that pirate show.
Yeah, it's like it's an attraction that you're coming to.
That's a lot of fun.
Or, they're going out to eat and spending money at a restaurant, or they're going and getting, maybe they're getting massages or something. That's something you do on vacation, right? Or
must be nice.
Yeah, right. I'm coming up with examples, things you wouldn't normally do at home. That's the whole reason you take vacations, is it not? And
to go out to eat.
Yeah. And even people that are coming for other reasons, like say you serve business travelers, well, they're still doing things like eating out or maybe they're going to the bar to, be with clients or whatever. I'm just making things up. Maybe they're using local office services. Maybe they're using, the local WeWork or whatever, right? So why couldn't you, as an operator who has customers coming in, why could you not take advantage of the fact that they're going to be spending money other places? And let me just give you an example. Why couldn't you go to a local restaurant and say, hey, we have this number of people that come a month. We would like to refer them to your restaurant as a place to eat. Could we make a deal where everybody that we send you, we get some kind of return on the whatever they spent on their meal, for example? Could you not make that kind of arrangement? Maybe.
Yeah, with the owner, freaking genius.
Yes. And so now my revenue total is now increased because I'm getting it from multiple sources. Or, for example, it's Valentine's Day this month. So what if you had a package that you were selling people that were coming to town for Valentine's Day where they could get a personal chef and couples massages?
Yes. Sign me up.
So you find a good local chef, personal chef, a good local massage therapist. Say they normally charge $100. Okay, you contract with them. You put that package together, and if it was $100 each, that would be $200. You sell it to your client or your guest for $250. Now I've just made an extra $50 for that reservation, and I'm not even providing the service. I'm just putting the package together.
That is genius.
So that's a way to bring revenue. Right. I know somebody in our local market who happens to own an old Rolls Royce. It's like an antique Rolls Royce. And one of the services they offer is to pick people up at the airport in the Rolls Royce.
That is so cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, I've got one.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, you know how we cater to families with children. Well, a lot of times, and we have the fully stocked kitchens, right? So what if, it's right there. So what if we were to provide some kind of service where the guests get some kind of, they want to get some groceries, and because they've got kids, they don't know where
talked about this
where the grocery store is. They don't know how to get there. Maybe it's late at night, and and they don't want to have to go out, or whatever. What if we were to provide groceries for them when they checked in? And maybe we could even provide some kind of little package, like a breakfast package where they get bacon and eggs and milk and orange juice and anything they want to cook. Breakfast, pancakes.
Or you could have like a vegan package for people that don't do that. Like you can choose A, B, C or whatever.
Or a dinner package where they could, and you could have different levels of dinner packages too, right? You could have like the steak package, or you could have the
all the way down to the ramen noodle package.
Which is what the kids will eat.
Right, basically.
Right. But that would be super cool.
Yeah, that's the kind of brainstorming that you need to do. But then you need a way to systematize it too. See, that's always a concern. I love the idea, but it needs to be something that I can deliver. And when I mean deliver, I mean delivering the service without it being something that I have to go do.
It would be really cool.
So I need a way for customers to order that thing, have that an add-on to their reservation, and have it provided, put in front of them that, hey, this is even available. And all that needs to happen without...
It needs to happen automatically.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking too.
So you always have to think about that when you're providing some sort of service like that. How can I make it efficient? Because that's really what you're in the business of doing, is making things efficient and orderly, and you're working on your business, not in your business. But if you can do that, now you've secured an additional source of revenue, and maybe it's only $50 a reservation sometimes, but that adds up over the course of a year. It can add up a lot. Just for an example, one of the things we do is we have a fee for early check-in. So I know a lot of people say, well, I would never charge for early check-in. I want to be, hospitable and all that. That's fine. If you want to run your business that way, I don't think that's anything wrong with that. And we've done that in the past too. If somebody messaged us and said, hey, can we check in early? And it was no big deal. We do it just to get them off the right foot, right? But recently we did change our messaging so that automatically, if the previous night isn't booked, the system will send them a message saying, hey, an early check-in is available if you would like it. And it's these different prices based on how early you want to check in. And now each guest gets asked up front, do you want an early check-in? Here is the fee.
That's cool because the system knows that.
Yes. So you can do that in Smart B&B. We've mentioned Smart B&B before.
Right.
We use that for our messaging, but there's a way to set that up so that, if they're coming on a Wednesday and Tuesday's not booked, it can automatically include in the messaging, hey, if you would like to check in early, here are the fees. And there are two reasons for that. One, some people will say yes. You'll get a lot of no's. You'll get a lot of, no, I'm cool with checking in at 4, which is our normal check-in time. But you will get a lot of yeses that say, yes, it's worth $50 for me to check in early, or it's worth $75 for me to check in early. And a lot of times, if it's slow season, for example, like January was for us, where we're really selling the nights at almost cost anyway, that extra $75 helps a lot.
Yeah.
And over the course of a year, when you get to the end of the year, you'll be like, wow, we made like an extra $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 on these little $50 early check-in fees throughout the year.
Right.
That add up.
And it also keeps people from asking you.
Well, that's number 2, because almost invariably we would have half people would ask, hey, can we check in early?
Oh my gosh.
And now you've got to message them back and say,
right.
No, you can't, or yes, you can. But if you have the automated messaging that just says, yeah, you can check in early, but it's this, or I guess you could actually set it to say, hey, an early check-in isn't available in some nice way. Like normally we can offer early check-in. I just want to let you know it's not available. It will keep them from even asking the question.
Right.
Which means I don't have to respond to the question, which makes me that much more efficient. Which means I don't have to do it. It doesn't cost me time, or my staff doesn't have to do it. It doesn't cost them time.
What about late checkouts?
Late checkouts are a little different for me, or for us, because we schedule, and I would say everybody should, but we schedule our cleanings and we have a runner coming. And so we have these wheels in motion for checkouts. So we always clean on checkouts. We always try to do it right at checkout, like 11 is checkout for us. And so people don't tend to ask for late checkouts until like the night before or something.
It's true.
And at that point, it's costly for me, and sometimes it's actually a cost for me to call the cleaner and say, hey, don't come at 11. They're not checking out till 2. You know what I mean? And a lot of times they now have to go rearrange their schedule around that, and imagine having 50 of those. So part of the problem is you've already got things scheduled to happen. So I would say if you're going to offer late checkouts and charge for them, then do it on the front end, just like you do the early check-in. Let them go ahead and know that, hey, if you would like a late checkout, here are the options, so that you can do it early enough that it's basically you're just going to block off the next day.
Right.
So that the cleaners just don't come that day. They come the next day.
Right.
Is the way we handle it.
Well, it just creates extra work for me.
Yeah, and that's costly. I mean, Matt, you got to think about what scales. If you have 50 of those, that becomes a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, it really does.
Especially if you're offering early check-in too. Because now you have to check, well, is there somebody scheduled for early check-in? And can I even offer that? And, you know, it's not that you can't do it. It's just that it's kind of a mess. So we just don't.
Yeah.
We offer early
I'd rather
check-in.
just not.
We just don't offer late checkout.
I'd rather just
We just
not.
don't.
I'd just rather not.
Unless it's some kind of weird, like, extenuating circumstance that,
Right.
and we just want to be nice,
Right.
basically. But as a business, it's hard for us to make that happen on a consistent basis efficiently.
You know what we have found that it really helps with adding to the revenue is making our units pet friendly.
Yeah, that's something that we did do. And I know that some people charge a pet fee, but we chose to just like raise the rates.
Right.
I mean, you're going to get the money either way, but we kind of made it a business decision to just make that part of our attraction, that you can bring your pets, and then you can now charge a little more because, well, there's lots of people that just don't allow pets, you know? So that can be a moneymaker either way you choose to do it. Either charge a fee so you know exactly what it is, or just make it pet friendly. And now you can just charge a little more because the demand has just gone down.
Yep.
You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If there are 100 places in town, but only 50 of them are pet friendly, where I'm not competing with the other 50
Right.
for pet friendly places. So I just cut my competition down quite a bit, which means now I can raise rates a little bit.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So that has actually helped us quite a bit. We did that, but in the units that we have that don't have carpet, basically
Don't have carpet. Yes.
was our kind of criteria
Right.
for that.
Right.
Because we have several places that are either hardwood or tile throughout the whole unit, and it's been great.
Yeah,
We really
it sure
haven't had a
has.
problem. And, you know, one of the things that, at least in our experience, that has happened is pet owners tend to be more
Responsible. I
responsible.
was going to say that.
Isn't that weird?
Yes.
And my theory on that is
They're
if you
better guests.
if you travel with pets, you have to be.
have to be responsible.
Because now you have
It's
to think
true.
about like all the water and food I
Right.
got to bring, and the
Right.
bowls and the
Right.
and all that kind of thing. So that's kind of my theory on it. I don't know if that's really true or not,
Yeah.
but
It's interesting. It was definitely an interesting thing to notice.
yeah.
But yeah. That's all I can think of. So, well, that is all we have. I can't think of anything else that we
could brainstorm more
that we
things,
do. We
but that's
could.
the idea. It's don't just think about nightly rate. Think about what other services you can bring online to be other streams of income.
Yes.
And
great.
that will actually increase your overall revenue without having to compete necessarily on nightly rate. And
Yep.
and that's why we said in the very beginning, think about it as this is a revenue business, not a occupancy or nightly rate business necessarily. And if you think about it, the hotels do the same thing, don't they?
Oh.
They have restaurants,
That's true.
they have bars,
That's true.
they have services a lot of the times, and they're playing that game. You should be too.
Oh, that's interesting. I had not thought about that before.
Yeah.
Genius. You are a genius.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Hilton thought of it first. It's just that as short-term rental operators, we tend not to think that way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I hadn't thought about
So
that.
hopefully that gives you some ideas about where, or an aha, or a,
Right. Sure.
you know,
Yep.
a
Very
different
good.
way of thinking about it.
And if you would like some more information about exactly how we do these things, head over to thecashflowcouple.com and register for our community over there, because this is where we talk about exactly how we run our business. So we would love to have you. It's free for the first month. After that, it's $59 a month. We'd love to have you over there. It's at thecashflowcouple.com. And that's it. John's nodding his head like, wrap it up.
No, it was beautiful. I wasn't going to say anything else.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Yep, that's it.
It's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Oh, wow. I just scored points.
Well, until next time.
Thanks for listening to another exciting episode of the Cash Flow Couple. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, virtually anywhere you might find a podcast, whatever podcast player you're listening on now. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. It helps other people find us. It helps us move up in the rankings. If you did not know, we also have a YouTube channel. It's The Cash Flow Couple. All of our episodes go there. But as well, we also put other video content that is not part of the podcast. You can find us on Facebook at The Cash Flow Couple. We go live there quite a bit. We share tips, tricks, things that are behind the scenes in our business that you may not see on the podcast, but it's definitely more of a real-time, day-to-day type experience. So definitely follow us on Facebook. If you want to ask us questions, or if you have concerns or something you want to hear on the podcast, hit us up by email, info@thecashflowcouple.com. We love to hear from our audience. We really care about you guys. We want to see you succeed, and we want to hear what you have to say. So hit us up, info@thecashflowcouple.com. So until next time, happy hosting, happy investing, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Cash Flow Couple.